What's going on, everyone? SJ Collectibles back with another toy unboxing and figure review video. In this one, I'll be going over the new Jazzwares Halo Spartan Collection Series 6 Master Chief from Halo 4. So I went ahead and got him out of box, and he is absolutely incredible. I will say, since this Spartan Collection series began, these figures have come a long way, and this company, Really Cool Toys or something, Wicked Cool Toys, part of Jazzwares, have really come a long way with putting detail into these figures and getting their overall QC problems from like the earlier series from this toy collection. They've really started to hammer those problems that I always thought were an issue, and other people thought so as well. Like really loose articulation, so on and so forth. But this figure is solid as hell. From all the articulation, like the original Chiefs, like they would wobble all over the place. Like you can see, he is really solid figure, and the sculpt is absolutely amazing. If you bring it in, you can see that they hit all these different textures on the under armor of this figure, from the undersuit underneath the Mauner armor. So yeah, you can see the back of the armor. And once again, like all the other figures, there are peg points. This can pop out, and this can pop out and be spun around. And he has the peg points, so you can put the weapons on. As the vacuform visor. So you got that nice look to his helmet. There are multiple sets of hands that the Chief comes with. And yeah, there's that texture. You can really see it on the back. And they really followed through on that texture under his suit. So here's the box. They've changed the box, same shape for the most part, but they've changed the color scheme of it. And when they first showed off this figure, I was really thrown off by this odd-ass stance that they posed him in. And I was like, man, this is going to be a terrible figure. Something about this whole area just looked weird as hell. It was always kind of like a weird piece in the redesign of this more realistic looking Master Chief armor. But, yeah, this figure really made it look really weird. But seeing it in hand, it doesn't even look like, I know that's just like the prototype, because even the visor is like, maybe that is like the 3 3/4 figure, because I remember they did that with, I want to see Series 2. They did the picture of the Chief from the 3 3/4 line on the 6-inch figure, but they do have him posed with the gun that he comes with in the 6-inch or the 7-inch line, though. So I don't know. It's just probably just a prototype, because even the armor color's wrong. But they did get it right on the actual figure in hand. It looks so freaking good. And my little history on Halo is I was never really a fan of it. When it first came out, I would play team deathmatch and stuff with my friends, but I just never really got into it, because I wasn't really big on first-person shooters. I liked more platform games and Twisted Metal and Crash Bandicoot and things like that, and because I just had a PlayStation 2 and stuff. But so I never really got into it. Later on down the line, Halo Reach came out, and that really changed my whole perspective on the Halo franchise. I just absolutely loved all the characters in it, the story, and it changed my whole perspective on first-person shooter games too, because that game is really fun to play and fun to play with people as well, like all the Halo games are. But so I played that, and so then I went back and I gave the rest of the series a chance. And about that time, the 10th anniversary of the original Halo came out, so I picked that up and loved it. And I also got the book Halo Fall of Reach because I'd heard people telling me to read it, so I picked it up, and it's a book that I now read about once a year because I just really love how it's written. I love the characterization of Master Chief and his fellow Blue Team members. Kelly is my absolute favorite. But when Halo 4 came out and they redesigned it, made it more realistic take, and didn't have that art style. I know it pissed a lot of people off, but I just I found a love for that game. I just narrative wise and story wise, it just the humanization of the Chief, because he never really had a character in the previous games, so it was nice to see that when they brought this Chief to life. And he could emote a lot through this helmet, because there's a lot of scenes in that game where he just does like a sudden helmet turn, and what the Chief is thinking when he's talking to Cortana. And I truly love their dynamic between the two of them in that game, even though about halfway through the game it just kind of drags on, but it's still, I really like the game, and I really like the design of this realistic take on Chief, even though there's some weird spots on the armor. Like I always thought this part of the armor was really fucking weird, like it's a butt plate. But other than that, I always just really liked the design of this armor, like the thrusters on his back. There's just so much amazing detail in this figure. Damn. And the articulation is about I put a little bit better lighting on so you can see. But anyway, the articulation is about what you can expect from these figures. But because the armor of this design of Chief is a little bit more slim and less bulky, it seems like you get better range of motion out of some of the joints on him than, say, like Combat Evolved Chief by the same company, which is just like a big brick of plastic, even though I love that figure and design of the original Chief. Let's bring him in. Here he is. So here he is with original Chief, and you can see he had some pain in the ass articulation at his arm joints, and I've seen some people customize it to make it work a little bit better, but it's just crazy the differences in detailing between the two. So you have your head rotation, and there is a joint on his neck, like all of them, and this one's really tough, so I'm not going to mess with it. It kind of bugs me. It's kind of hard to see, but his neck seems a little long. Like if you look at it where his shoulder to the base of his head is, it's kind of a long joint. But the head sculpt is overall really flawless. Love that they went with the vacuform plastic. Again, like all of the other figures, they tried to get away with it one time with, like, what was it, the Series 2 Master Chief, and I think they didn't hear the end of it. Everybody thought that's what they were going to go to, and it's like, oh, no. You keep these visors because they make these figures look so phenomenal, especially for the $20 price point. I mean, it just looks... I wouldn't have a problem paying, well, I'm not even going to say that because then the company would do it. But, I mean, to me, this feels like a $40 figure. And, I mean, even that $130, whatever ridiculous priced Master Chief from Infinite that they have out that has, like, Yeah, and I know it's important stuff, but still, it's the same size figure, and it's like $20 figure. Which one are you gonna go for? So yeah, I'm gonna take my money and get a really good quality figure for like a fucking quarter of the price. Seriously, not even. It's like an eighth of the price. So, but he's got shoulder articulation up and down. He does not have a butterfly joint like some of them do, but he's got a rotation here, double jointed elbow, regular wrist articulation. I really wish they would do a ball joint like Mcfarland used to do, so you can do like the wrist pivot downwards, so you can make him hold a rifle at like a nice regular pose. He does have ab crunch and full articulation. Again, with the smaller armor, it makes it easier to do nice full range of motion. He has ball pivots on his legs, plus thigh swivel, double knee, standard foot rotation with a tiny. It's really kind of pointless. It has a toe joint, and that's how much it moves. So why they did that is really dumb. But hey, I'm sure someone out there like, well, my Marvel Legends does it. So yeah, I'm not gonna poke that bear. But yeah. But anyway, so you can take these out, and like always, you can flip them around and pop it in. And this one goes in flush as hell. And then he does come with two weapons. He comes with the railgun, really well detailed. Again, these weapons aren't as rubberized as they were getting to be, so it's pretty solid. Then he also comes with the sticky detonator. But of course, I'll stick him with the assault rifle, my favorite. And you can take these and you can peg them on their back. These big thrusters, it's kind of hard, but that's about as good as it goes. Boom, like so. And even though like this hand is fully molded, there's no trigger finger or anything. You really don't need it with how these guns are made. So you just swivel it in. We're going to get him into a nice little... He always did some really cool motion capture poses in that game. I just really liked how they had him in that game. Like when he was just like walking around and stuff. I just like, damn, the Chief is so freaking cool in this. Sorry, this is taking me a minute because these hands, they've started to use like a more solid plastic. So, yeah. So, I'm going to go with this badass pose right here. Okay. We got the Chief all in a pretty sweet battle stance. So now we can set him aside and bring in some comparisons. Here's the Mcfarland Halo 4. I love this figure. I love the Mcfarland's figures for what they were, his massive catalog of figures, that he made for each game. But I always wanted a Master Chief in this scale from Halo 4. And it's so exciting to finally have one. Even though it's years later. But better late than never. And getting them from a really good toy company. So. And, we brought in Combat Evolved Master Chief. Here's Halo 2 Master Chief. Which I feel is probably the best comparison between the two. because it's supposed to be a direct follow-up to Halo 3. So this is pretty much this armor, only with a little bit of damage, which they did do there. It's really not that prominent like the Mcfarland one was. And then he does have the Braille 117 on his breastplate as well. And then you can bring in probably my favorite redesign of the Chief, and that's the Infinite design. Just love the bulkiness of him, of the armor. He looks freaking amazing. This is probably my favorite version. This is the series, what is it, the series 4 or 5, where it's just like a really clean interpretation of that armor. But I'd like to get the one that is like him and the weapon, because I think that's the most accurate looking one that they've put out from that game. But yeah, so these are all the Chiefs that they've made. Variety. I mean, I know they've made more for each series so far. There's one in each series or two. But I hope they make a Halo 3. They've made the 3 3/4 with the Warthog, but I hope that they make the armor color accurate, because this super bright green is terrible. But it should be more like this. But so far, this is probably my favorite Chief figure. Not the best Halo game, but I always really liked the story of it for the most part. Loved how the Chief and Cortana were in it. But as far as toys go, for a $20 figure, you would never even know. I mean, it is just above and beyond with the detail on this figure. It's definitely the most detailed of the Master Chief figures, and I thought this was going to be the one that I was going to pass on when this series was announced, because I'd gotten Carter and he was amazing, and at GameStop they seem to be just bringing them in one at a time, because I have not seen the full series all together yet. I found Carter first, and then I found the Chief today, and I'm hoping to find Linda next, because need her for Blue Team, and all we need is Freddy. But for now, this Chief is probably my favorite in the collection that they've done so far. I'll probably do a repaint on the gun to match his detail a little bit better, because he is just phenomenal. Can't say enough about how much I love this figure. So let's put him a little. Yeah, there we go. Aim down. There we go. Sierra 117 Master Chief. So yeah, sweet figure. Love him. Love all the Chief figures, but something about this figure just really hits a spot, because it was really like the Halo game besides Reach that really got me into the franchise. But anyway, I hope you all love this review as much as I liked making it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you like what you see, and tell me what you think in the comment section below. Again, I found this figure at GameStop. He was $24.99 plus tax. I had the $5 off a month coupon, so he was, regular store price, like finding him in Target. But yeah, great figure, absolutely love it, and I hope you all liked the video, like I said. And this is SJ Collectibles saying toys keep you young, and happy hunting out there, everyone. Take it easy.